Hey everyone, it's July 31st, 2014, and I want to thank you so much for your support of Steven Spielberg and the Return to Film School over the past year. We've received over 5,000 views on YouTube, we've been to some great festivals, and we've received some amazing awards. But now I'd like to share with you a very special clip of Steven Spielberg. He gave a speech in 2006 where he tells the story of his childhood, the story of how he became a film director. And I'll tell you, I originally didn't know exactly how this film was going to play out, but once I saw this film, I knew that this story had to be in our film. And so the story that you're about to watch is not only the flashback in our film, but really the story behind the great man that is Steven Spielberg. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
And I thought I'd share with you how it all started. Everything I'm about to tell you happened completely by accident. And I think it all started out when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old, and my father came over to me and said, "I'm going to take you to see the greatest show on earth." And when you promise a 6, 7, 8-year-old young boy that you're about to see the greatest show on earth, I couldn't have been more excited. It was a large red curtain, I'll never forget this, and the curtain opened, the lights went down, and a dimly lit image came on the screen, and it was flickering, and it was kind of grainy because we were sitting way in front, and suddenly I realized that my father had lied to me and had betrayed me, and had taken me to a circus that wasn't a circus. It was a movie about a circus, and I had never seen a movie before. That was the first movie I ever saw, Cecil B. DeMille's The Greatest Show on Earth. I had never seen a motion picture before. And I think the feeling of disappointment and regret and betrayal lasted only about 10 minutes, and then I became just one more victim of this tremendous drug called cinema. Now, in the center of this movie, if any of you remember the Cecil B. DeMille film, The Greatest Show on Earth, there's a tremendous train wreck. It was a special effect sequence. Later, I learned it was a miniature train, but it was as real as I've ever seen anything in my life. It was the greatest disaster I ever beheld, and for me, it began my interest not in making movies, but in asking my dad to get me a Lino electric train. That holiday season, my dad got me my first Lino engine and a little coal car and a caboose and a few passenger cars. And the next year, I asked for the same thing. I said, "I'd like another engine." So I had 2 trains. And I was really interested in seeing what it would look like if I could recreate that memory, now several years old, of the greatest show on earth, and could I recreate the train wreck? And I actually took my 2 trains and I just rammed them into each other. And they broke, and I told my dad the train had broke, and he said, "How did it happen?" I said, "I rammed them into each other," and my dad had them repaired. And the next week, I crashed my trains into each other again, and the other train broke. And my dad said, "Look, I'm going to take the train set away. If you crash these things into each other one more time, you're not going to have trains anymore." But there was something about whatever the primal sense of wanting to destroy something because of that movie, whatever got into me, I needed to see those trains crash into each other. My dad had sitting around the house, which I always had taken for granted, this little 8mm Kodak film movie camera with a turret that had 3 lenses, kind of wide, medium, and close-up lens. I never really bothered with the camera, but I thought, well, I know what I can do. What if I film the trains crashing into each other? I can just watch the film over and over and over again. And that's how I made my first movie. I shot one train, all in the camera. I didn't have an editing machine. I just put the camera low to the track, and I just filmed one train going left to right. I filmed the other train, cut the camera, turn it around, the other train coming right to left. And intuitively, I figured out if I put the camera in the middle and they met in the middle, I'd have my train wreck. Well, that's exactly what I did. Luckily, the trains didn't break, but I looked at that film over and over and over again. And then I thought, I wonder what else I could do with this camera. And that's how it began. And that's how I became a director.